Joining us now
Doing my job.
in Studio B is BYU basketball analyst Anson Winder. Anson, on that note, let's just move past it. Welcome back to the show.
Guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's always
Okay,
good to be
so
on.
how is your reaction when someone says BYU to the Big 12? How do you react?
At this point, it's like, when it happens, I'll be excited. When we actually join, it'll be great news. But now it's just kind of like talk, and until you see something come to fruition and see that manifest, it's like, I'll wait and see. I'm kind of tired of talking.
So you're the
about
unimpressed.
Yeah.
The unimpressed look.
Big time.
Okay.
Yeah, you just people have cried wolf too many times.
Yeah, exactly.
With this
Especially over the course of this, this year. It's
Yeah.
like, man, let it just come already.
Yeah. So we were talking about hoops and how BYU climbed 6 spots in Lenardi's bracketology. Why do you think he had BYU climbing 6 spots despite losing a game at St. Mary's?
I think he's looking at the schedule overall. You look back to that Hawaii tournament, how important that was. You see them beat a Northern Iowa team that will be very good throughout the rest of the year, and a New Mexico team that will compete in the Mountain West Conference. So I think he's looking at the strength of schedule and saying, hey, BYU, they had some games that won't help them as much in March, but they also have some games that can carry weight also.
The losses they've had on the road, those teams at home combined 31-1.
We should have done a stat of the day with that. We got a different stat of the day. We'll bust it out in a minute.
31
That's the stat of the day. Jeez.
Okay, so those teams playing really well at home. So for those fans who are like, no, BYU should beat St. Mary's and they should beat Colorado, is that asking? I think that there is no other sport in college athletics that's tougher to win on the road than in college basketball.
Oh, I totally agree. Well, even you think about coming to the Marriott. We don't expect to lose at the Marriott. So the fact that these teams are winning at home, that's expected because they're usually better at home.
What do you think of St. Mary's? Because I don't believe they've left the Bay Area. They played like 12 home games or something crazy, right? Is it that many? That's a lot. If BYU had that set up, they would probably be 12-1.
Yeah, they could be 12-1 right now, yeah.
Yeah, so what BYU loses to St. Mary's, but what do you think of St. Mary's?
Like you said, yeah, you play that many games at home. It's kind of deceiving because you don't know how they're going to do on the road. You don't know the road tests that they face. They haven't faced many road tests. So I think they have, 6 games on the road coming up. It'll be interesting to see how they do and how they fare on the road. It's kind of too early to tell for me right now.
Is BYU the 3rd best team in the league currently?
I asked myself after that game on Thursday and Saturday, and it's scary because we're talking about 2 teams that we still haven't played yet that had Gonzaga on the ropes and very well should have beat Gonzaga. You're talking
San
about
Francisco
and Santa Clara.
This week.
San Francisco was up 10 with a few minutes left in the game.
16 with 7 or something.
7 left, and Santa Clara was in control of the game for probably 35 minutes. So you talk about those 2 teams that BYU hasn't played yet, and they're already 1 loss in the conference. So it's scary to kind of answer that question right now. This week will be a strong tell.
Handle business at home. Win in the Marriott Center, crucial for BYU. I want to talk about holiday tournaments because a team like St. Mary's, they didn't go out and challenge themselves. BYU did. What is the biggest benefit of playing in Hawaii or somewhere else in a challenging holiday tournament?
Getting that experience for younger guys and then winning. You see them win 2 big games on the road away from home. That was one thing that we had a concern about before the tournament started was can they win on the road and win away from the Marriott Center, and they proved that they could. So that's just going to carry weight going into conference play, and granted they didn't do that against St. Mary's, but the experience is still building and guys are still contributing and making plays, and you're hoping that pays dividends in these next few road games.
When I look at BYU's potential tournament resume at the end of the year, they need a road win of significance. And there's only 1 left on the schedule. Does BYU need to go up to Spokane and beat Gonzaga again?
Most definitely. I think with the strength of schedule we had last year, we still needed that win, and we were able to go there and produce. So at this point now, you do need to win all of your away games and then go to Gonzaga and win there, which is no tall tale. I mean, that's asking a lot, but it is something that is needed, and I think it'll, along with that and going to the conference tournament and getting to the semis or championship of the conference tournament, those will be benefactors that will be needed in March.
Anson Winder with us on BYU Sports Nation in Studio B. Let's talk about some specifics of this team. It kind of seems like live by the 3, die by the 3, and Chase Fisher is carrying that banner. When he plays well, it seems like BYU wins. Is it that simple for the Cougars right now?
At this point, it kind of is because we're not seeing much low post offense, through these last couple of games. We haven't got a whole lot from our low post scores. So we've been relying a lot on three-point line, which in the past, Coach Rose, as we know, he likes to shoot a lot of threes. We've done it all with all of our teams in the past. But we see now that when we shoot bad and don't have the low post scoring, that these games aren't turning out the way that we would like them to turn out.
Yeah, when you look at production from Kyle Davis, I guess only the 4 points at Pacific, but BYU makes 11 threes or something. Generally, he's been pretty good this year, but it's interesting to see the effect that Chase has on this team, and I think it's because there's not a lot behind him. Yeah. Jake Toulson not playing, let alone developing to the degree that we thought he had made the jump, is affected this team in a way where Chase needs to show up. But Chase the last 4 games has been awesome, which is our stat of the day.
It's the BYU Sports Nation stat of the day.
Chase Fisher's averaging 27.8 points per game in the last 4. He had that 41, that certainly helps, but he's been 20 plus the last 4. What has been different in the last 4 for Chase?
Confidence. I think you're seeing him take shots that we all expect him to take and make, and he's hitting those shots at a high level. I mean, that shooting percentage the last 4 games is what carried BYU throughout some of these wins, and it's proven that, yeah, we do rely on the 3, and once we hit them, we can be a dangerous team.
Anson Winder with us on BYU Sports Nation. We're talking BYU hoops and their NCAA Tournament Chances now. Okay, let me give you a little bit of backdrop on this, Ants. TeamRankings.com is a qualified and notable website. They have BYU with a 71% chance of making the tournament if the Cougars win 26 games. They're 10-5 right now. So that would mean 16-2 if BYU can get to the West Coast Conference Championship game in March. What kind of a shot do you give BYU to pull off something like that?
So you go 16-2. That is a long shot, but it's definitely doable. I mean, we've seen the best team in the league, which is Gonzaga, be against the ropes against the Santa Clara and San Francisco. So it is definitely doable, and you can win. You can beat St. Mary's at home when it's time for them to come back to the Marriott. So it's definitely doable, but with 26 wins, I find it hard for someone not to make the tournament. You know what I mean? With that many wins.
See, I'm shocked it's only 71% with 26.
Yeah, and it drops to 32% if it's 25. So let's say BYU is really good and they're 15-3.
Yeah.
They have a 32% chance, according to TeamRanks.com,
which is a big drop.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah, no,
weird, right?
Yeah, that is. It just goes to show you how important all these games will be down the stretch. Every game is going to be important. It's going to carry weight, and yeah, 16-2 is you're asking a lot, but it's something that you can catch fire and definitely do. But it's a matter of focus and maintaining the successes that you had throughout the course.
We're
of this year.
having big picture conversation right now, and you can do that now because you're an analyst.
Yeah,
and not specifically a player.
Have you broken through in that to where you can see it differently?
Yeah, at a broader scheme. Yeah, I have. It took a while because I've focused on every play and every game, and it's just worry about. We just need this one possession. We just need to score right here, and now it's more grand scheme. Focus on a few plays together and games at a time, and I don't know, it's interesting.
Did you ever have a big picture conversation while you were a player with a teammate?
You do, preseason when it's like, okay, we do this, and this is what will manifest at the end. But through the course of the year, you have to focus on the next game. It's all about the next game, the next play. Coach is always saying you got to focus on the next play. I know he's telling the guys that now. And focus on the next game. The next game is the biggest game of the year. Santa Clara and San Francisco will be the 2 biggest games of the year coming up because they're teams that we know or have had success and can proven that they've had top teams on the ropes. They've shown it. So it's all about the next game, not the bigger picture of, what's going to happen in March.
It's interesting because the phrasing, it's a marathon. You guys don't treat it like a marathon. You treat it like 100-meter sprints, but you're running a marathon.
Exactly.
Just do this 100-meter sprint and then go on from there. Can we talk about Zach Selgus and how awesome he's been?
Phenomenal.
He is BYU's bench scoring. He is shooting 60% or something from 3. I'll look it up and see the exact thing. But does BYU need to try and work Zach into the offense a little more, given his success so far? Or is that because of his role?
I think that's his role. He comes in and he finds his spots, and he's so you can see the confidence when he's shooting the ball. Even when I see him shoot, I expect him to make shots. I think last week he was at 71%. That was the stat of the day,
which
or something like that, which is unreal. And for now to even still be in the 60s is remarkable from this late in the year, and to be a freshman making plays coming off a bench, you're not even starting, coming off making, shooting this well it's awesome. It's phenomenal. I think the scare that we had earlier in the year was that there was no scoring coming off of the bench, and he's proven that he can be that 6th man that can come in and provide points for the team, and he's shown that he can have big games. So it's awesome to see, and we will need more of it going on.
28 of 45, 62%, double figures in 4 games this year. 12 against Northern Iowa, 3 against St. Mary's, and he had the flu, and then 14 against Pacific. So contributing. But I still think that BYU needs more from Jordan Chapman, needs a little more consistency from Nick. Jamal Aites, I think, showed some bright spots against
Definitely.
even St. Mary's, right?
Definitely. And he'll even provide, if once you see him get more comfortable and adjusted in his role, more low post scoring that we haven't seen these last couple of weeks. And, something that we went to a lot early in the year. We saw Kyle Davis get a lot of touches, Corbin Cafusi get a ton of touches. And I think Coach will want to get back to that to a certain extent, along with hoping to hit outside shots.
Okay, Anson, you can be an expert on this next topic for
Oh,
sure.
boy. Oh, geez.
Jerem has said that he will not shave his mustache until BYU basketball loses. Okay? What kind of motivation can that provide for this team to keep winning?
Because you won at Gonzaga because I said the shaved head thing, right? It wasn't Ryan Andrews' 2 free throws. It wasn't Skylar Halford's.
It was totally the shaved head thing. So the fact that the mustache is going to be there, it's going to fire the guys up. That's all. That's the ignition right there. That's going to get the guys going.
And then there's certain guys that are like, that thing is stinky. we got to get rid of that thing by any means.
They might come and get you in your sleep or something.
Oh my goodness. What's happened to Corbin Cafusi? He's not playing a lot. Rotations, ineffective. What is it?
Matchups? What is it?
I think it's rotations. We've talked about it before where coaches found lineups that he thinks will provide success, and we have seen that with some of the games that we've been winning. And we've done that having 4 guards on the floor. I think we've seen Zach go to the 4 and kind of step out and stretch defenses because he can shoot so well. And that's caused Kyle Davis to play the 5 or Nate to play the 5 or Cafusi to have to split time and play a little bit of the 5, So that's definitely, hopefully his confidence is still there and he can still kind of come back in and contribute because it's going to be needed later on in the year as we do play Gonzaga, the size that they have, he's going to need to go down there and bang with those bigs. So it'll be interesting to see. We have seen a drop off in his minutes, but hopefully it's not derailing.
Hopefully Corbin has another rainbow jump hook at Gonzaga. That was the most amazing shot of last year.
Okay, when that goes in, you're like, okay, BYU's going to win.
It's like, this is our day. There was some stuff that happened there. It's like, well, we can't lose.
I started shaving my head when he made that shot. I was like, it's over. It's over.
Anson, great to have you with us, man.
Guys, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Hopefully Jerem's mustache hasn't scared you off.
That's all I could look at today.
You used to have a mustache, didn't you?
I did, but nothing as fierce as that.
Fierce, that's kind.
Oh,
Uncle Rico says
fantastic
he loves
stuff.
my mustache.
Absolutely he does. You throw a football over them mountains over there.
We would have won state, no doubt.